The people that are getting baptized, are you guys ready? How many? Raise your hands. What we did here today is explain the power of God as it works. It's not by anything that we're doing. It's just that we're sitting here and we're willing and able. Willing. We have willing spirits. God speaks to us and we say, okay, hey, you know what? I do things sometimes that make my wife mad. I do things that sometimes that make my wife mad, but I don't care because God tells me to do it, I'm doing it. She does things that make me mad, and she doesn't care because God's telling her to do it. What we have to realize is that when God speaks to us, we need to be ready to move. In the book of Isaiah, he came to him and he said, and he touched him, and he said, whoa. He was in the presence of God and he couldn't figure it out. He said, I'm undone. He said, I can't figure it out. Because when you come in the presence of God, you can't help but change. Change is coming. And I'm going to tell you something. Each and every person that's sitting here today, change is coming. Change is coming. And just by the people that spoke here today, you know that it's going to happen. You know, and sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes you fall on your face. Sometimes you cry. Sometimes it hurts. But change is coming. And then right after that, the change happens, and he touches his lip with these coals, and he says, okay, now who are we going to send? He says, here I am, send me. He said, here I am, send me. And sometimes it doesn't feel very good. And sometimes it hurts, and sometimes it's painful, and sometimes you don't want to. You know, I don't get a lot of sleep. But it doesn't matter. Because I raised my hand and I said, here I am, send me. And I'm telling you guys that each and every one of us should have our hands raised, saying, here I am, send me. Because the Bible says that if God has done something for you, then speak out about it. Do something about it. Help somebody like somebody helped you. Here I am, send me. Here I am, send me. You know what? I'm broke right now. I don't even have any money. Because I helped so many people. I can't take it with me. It doesn't matter. The money doesn't matter. I'm tripping on this with the whole government thing. They're going to start to make it so you can't preach the truth from the pulpit. I'm going to preach it anyway.
Amen.
What are they going to do? Sue me? What's happened? Nothing. I don't have anything. You see, God is raising us up for such a time as this.
Amen.
We've all been through something. We've all been somewhere. We've all been drugged through the mud somehow. Some of us it was prison. Some of us it was $1 million homes. Some of us it was something else. Alleyways, homelessness, shopping carts. It was all something. We are all being raised up for such a time as this. I'm not scared of jail. They throw me in jail. I was comfortable there at one time.
At least I'll have something.
But you're not going to be able to shut me up. I will preach the truth, and I'm going to tell you something. If they shut me up here, I'll preach it there. But then somebody else will step up here, and then they'll go there, and we'll preach it together there. And we'll just keep putting them here.
Yeah.
Here I am, send me. How many people are ready for here I am, send me? I said, how many people are here ready for here I am, send me? It's not very often you get somebody that actually wants the microphone.
Hi, church.
Hi.
Mine's about my son. About 2 years ago, I decided to relax. I thought that I was walking with the Lord, but what had happened was I was in love with a man who didn't know God. And I put this man first. And I didn't think I was, because I was here, doing the food ministry, proclaiming the Lord and helping women, and doing my very best to hear what was wrong with me. What was wrong with me was I wasn't letting go and letting God. And I was not meant to run my house. I was meant to submit to a man, a Christian man, and when I figured that out by almost killing myself and my son in a relapse. And since that relapse, God let me know who He wanted in my life and who He wanted out. And He took me away from my family very recently for a mistake that I did a couple years ago now. And when He took me away, He accomplished everything that I had been praying for over 7 years. I came home to a man where I walked around the corner who told me he would never believe in God. But God was like Santa Claus to him. And I prayed and I said, God, I can't do it. When I came home, I deserved nothing of what I got. I came home to an entire remodeled house, a brand new truck, but here's the best part. I walked around the corner one morning and it was 5:30 in the morning. And my soon-to-be husband was on his knees praying.
Come on.
And reading his Bible, and I never even knew that he started. He walked away from habits that he never thought were a problem. And here's the thing, 2 years ago I turned around to my now husband and I said, I don't want to disrespect you. I said, but when I die, when me and my son die, I know where we're going. And I know impartial what it will look like. And I don't want to offend you. But I don't think you're going to be there with me. Where do you think you're going to be? And he said, don't you talk to me that way. I said, I'm sorry. It's about 2 or 3 weeks later. He came to me and he said, you know, and I don't like what you said to me. But just in case it's true, I want to work on it. I came to realize that I am a controlling, bossy woman. And I needed to be more submissive to God first, who would give me my husband. And I believe in marriage, but I would not marry him because it wasn't forever. I could not submit to a man who did not believe in God. He couldn't make my decisions for me. And in facing reality, we almost had to leave each other, but we didn't. We got counseled by this man right here. And it was hard for him. And here's how I know my family changed. I came to realize that we were a Christian family, right? But my son has been in church his whole life, had no idea how to pray. And that told me no. There's something wrong. And just recently I turned around and about my wedding day, and who knows how many times I've actually paid attention, but I realized that my son said, Mom, it's time to pray. And he joined hands and he put on a prayer boy. And he thanked God for everything under the sun. And he knew to say in Jesus' name. And he knew to thank him for the clothes on his back. And he said, I thank you for a hardworking mommy and a hardworking daddy. And here's the end of my praise report. This is how I know my life has changed. We're driving around and we're in about 5 different cars. It's the day before my wedding. And God has taken many people out of our lives and He has put many people in. And I get a phone call when I'm at the florist telling me about my son. And my brother-in-law, Donnie, was homeless over half of his life here in Stockton. And he never knew God, but he knew how to be raped. He knew how to be beat. He knew how to be homeless, and he knew how to starve. And he did it right here on this block. And that man was driving my son around, trying to help us out. And my son had his birthday money in his pocket. He drove past this corner. And he said, Donnie. And he said, yeah, hold on, Jordan, I'm on the phone. He got about 5 blocks down, and he said, Jordan, what were you wanting to tell me? And Jordan was crying. And Jordan said, I want to go back. And he said, back where? He said, there was a man over there when we ate. And he said, at the restaurant? He said, yeah. And he said, that man was hungry. And he's homeless. And Donnie said, how do you know he was homeless? said, because his sign said he was hungry. And Donnie said, I don't think you should give your money to that man, Jordan. I don't believe in giving money to homeless people. And he said, but Jordan, tell me why you want to. And Jordan said, well, he said, people make mistakes. I know that because my mom, she made a mistake. And he said, and she had to go away to day camp. He said, but she learned her lesson and she's doing better. And he goes, and that man, he's homeless. But I think he learned his lesson. And I think he's doing better. And now he's just homeless and he doesn't have anywhere to either stay. He said, but if we just feed him, he'll know that we love him. And so Donnie turned around and he said, I'm real proud of you, Jordan. He said, but people that are homeless, sometimes they do drugs and they do alcohol. And that's why they're homeless. And I think that man did drugs and alcohol. And Jordan said, no, I believe in him and he learned his lesson. And I want to feed him. And he turned around and his 7-year-old son went and gave that man every dime in his pocket. And that's how I know that my family changed.
Come on.
I believe in miracles.
Focus on that now. I'm over here smiling like a baby watching my sister class. Oh man, please stop. I just want to yell, stop!
What this church has done for me.
You gotta speak in.
Okay. What this church has done for me is, I was living in Elko and I was having a real hard time up there. And I called Tyson and my brother Sean. And they paid for me to move down here. And I tried coming to church a couple times and then I grew up and I started using it again. Really, really bad. Where my son didn't want to be with me no more. So I went up to Tyson and I have known him since I was 16. He had me and he'll never meet me. I went up to Tyson and I said, Tyson, I need help. I can't do this no more. He got me in new directions. And now I've got 45 days clean. Church picnics, okay? Dressed the way I was, okay? I know this today. Thinking I was all that. But, one night, my niece would not have nothing to do with me because of it. And now I know why Mary ran for me. But, New Directions, we have a family night, and this is what's going to keep me clean and sober. They were showing how addiction affects our family. Myron turns around and looks at me and goes, Mom, you don't know how many times I waited for you to come home at night. That will forever stick with me. And I want to thank Tyson and Bella for getting me in New Directions. That's the best thing you guys could have ever done for me. And I wouldn't give up on them. I call them all the time. Did I ever get to bed? Am I ever getting in there? I don't care if I was high or not. I was still thinking, my making going into New Directions. I need it. And I just want to tell my son I feel better than I've ever felt before. And I'm doing it so I can be a better mom than you and your brothers. You know that. And I'm getting baptized.
Hey, God did that. I didn't do anything, you know. I really didn't. I used to drive down this road right here, and I used to see her standing outside, just trying to chew her shoulder, right? And I would tell her, "Hey, go in the house. What are you doing?" I would have to just pull up and say, "Hey, knock it off. Go inside." And she would go, she would talk to say something, but she would go in the house, and I would drive away, and I would watch her looking for me to leave. Like out the door like this, just waiting for me to leave. As soon as I left, she was like back outside again. Every time. But I love Michelle, and I just love people. I have known Michelle. I've known Michelle since we were kids. We were little kids running around. acting just as crazy. Only she was an adult acting crazy. I was an adult acting crazy. We've all done it, and the power of God is real. The power of God is real, and if you do just that, if you submit to what God has for you, and I'm going to tell you something. Hey, she sat here and she did call me every day. She called me just about every other day, every day. Sometimes twice a day. Hey, do I get a bed yet? What's going on? Am I going in there? Now, when I called her and said, hey, it's time to go, she was like, are you right now? Are you sure? Are you sure they didn't make a mistake? Maybe tomorrow? Oh yeah, she started getting all twitchy. She started running around in a circle the whole night long. She started crying like, are you sure? Yeah, they're not kidding. They're for real. I didn't want you to go now. She was like, okay. I gotta talk to my sister now. And she just like tried to call her. And I don't know what maybe she's trying to escape. I don't know. But she went. She went. And look, we're talking. Myron lives with us. And like, we're talking a better way. The power of God works. The power of God works. And that's what we're looking for. I mean, that's what we're trying to do here. It's not a building. It's not a neighborhood. It's where we're trying to release the power of God which indwells inside of us. And if we don't do it, who's going to? Ronnie, you got something?
Yeah.
And I don't know how long this service is going to go. I mean, who knows? Maybe 10 hours, maybe a week, maybe 3 more minutes. I don't know.
Oh, I know.
We don't got so far to go.
Oh, yeah.
We don't got so much gas.
It's all right. I had a sound. I could just go like this. And tell them to flush. No, I just want you guys to know that I love you. And what God did through these people in my life was I went to a program and I used down the street and one time I got out of prison, right? And I thought I had God. It's a whole other story, but I didn't. It was motions, and God couldn't keep me from just senseless thoughts, and I thought I had it all sewed up. So needless to say, I ended up using, and they took my kids from me up the street. I gave them away, but there's good news, that I talked to Dave, and I was very abusive. And what I know from street rules and white boys is we don't get along. And he had God, and he showed me a God that I didn't understand when I was in the program, right? He didn't hold nothing against me, and he continued to love me. And he's bigger than me. And I was just scared when I was using, right? But I had to tell him, and he knew everything that was going on, and he never locked his door to me. So that started a showing of like Joe and them say, a reading of the image of love of God. Right? By street rules, I mess with his family. He could take me outside and we could just go at it, right? And we know he's been in prison. We know that we don't get along.
He's so awesome.
So anyways, he shows me God. I keep moving. Life goes forward, right? And what I get from here, right? It's struggling, bro. My family's whack. Hey, real deal, bro. My family is crazy, bro. Right? They're crazy, and I have to take my kids around them. You know what I mean? So I get to my house, right? Hey, right now my sister, my older sister's sitting in here. My youngest sister's in here. My sister Denise is on the line. Hey, my whole family loves God, dude. Right? But what happens here is a nurturing. There's still hope here. There's still a fight that I'm contending in. Right? There's still hope that I'm living for. Right? And I will never stop. Because God will hold me when I can't walk. You know what I mean? And he'll push me when I can't move. And then I have great friends. But if it wasn't for settlements, when I could just sit in these pews and cry when times were hard, man. Because times get hard, man. You know what I mean? And people walking it out when their times are hard, and they share it with you. And we just keep contending, and we keep going, and then we see you guys make it. You know what I mean? We see you guys fall in love again. You know? And when we hear about your children, and we know that God lives, and we see people get healed, so then they bombard my mom, right? Hey, bro, from the usage of my mom, right? She has cirrhosis. She was supposed to die. Hey, this chick won't go. You know what I mean? Hey, everything. Hey, real talk, right? Hey, Dave will go pray for her. She'll get cool, she's on fire, and she'll regress a little bit, end up back in the hospital, and then Beth and Dave will go pray for her again, right? And they're blowing the doctor's things out of the water. She had a heart murmur. She was diagnosed with like a soft heart. It was gone. Same thing like Joe said, these random people just come in and start praying. So there's power in that, right? Supernatural, we see supernatural. We see healing, and I don't say nothing about my kids. That was my own fault, you know what I mean? But I'm going to keep contending for God. I don't know what's going to come out. I know that I'm going to serve God, that He's loyal, that He wrote stuff that's happening now in these days, that God is real, that I see it in evidence and fruit, and in lifestyle, and in choices, and in people that are making it that never could make it, and kids that don't fight no more, and kids that tell the truth, and kids that are going against the grain, and little Myrons, and in little Angelos, and in little, you know what I mean? So you guys just continue to just look. Hey, we can always see bad, right? But God says focus on those things that are good, the things that enlighten us, the things that take us to higher levels. And I just wanted to say thank all of you guys. I want to thank you for your continued support. And you guys struggle with me too. You guys pray for me. We walk through stuff. We talk through stuff. We hug each other, even solemn highs, even the continuance of coming. You know what I mean? And God is alive. God is real. He's real. There's no bar that could go against Him. The only thing that these people say out there is that He did it with the power of Beelzebub from Satan. And so if you guys don't know what that means, is that they said He did these things. The Romans said He pulled sorcery. So really what that means in our language is He did magic. People were healed. They did raise from the dead. He did cleanse the leper. Everything He said they couldn't bar against, right? So that's just one thing that we walk into. And I just want to know that we love you guys. Thank you for everything that you're doing. I do personally, you know, and just keep me in your prayers, and just keep coming. My whole family, they're clean right now. Milio's here. We walk in the middle. Hey, don't tell on you right now. Real deal, it says in the Bible, we're not supposed to put up. Hey, we're here to expose and to give you the light. They'll be like, Uncle Ronnie, right, Myron? They're doing this and this over here. So I got to jam Myron up, right? And they're like, oh. And we just stand at them, but we just keep walking this out, bro. Hey, that's what we do.
I just want to add a little something. Yeah, his family is crazy. For sure. I'll watch Emilio walk in here, just out of his mind, and sit through a marriage class. I was, whoa! I couldn't believe he was here. Now look at Emilio now; his whole life has changed. That's the power of God. That's the power of God.
First of all, I want to thank Tyson, and from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank Dave. And I want to thank my brother, because every single week, my brother picked up my kids, sometimes 2-3 times a week. And I used to think, cool, I'm going to get high. I got high when they were there, but I'm going to get super high now that they're gone. And I used to thank him for that, but my daughter, I didn't know behind every single time she used to pray and pray and pray for her dad and pray for her mom to quit and come to church, and I never thought I would. And I remember my brother asking me, and I would always have this answer, oh, I don't know, ask my husband. And that meant to my husband to say no. And really, when I would say ask my husband, he would say, oh no, we're busy this weekend, or we're busy. But for some reason he said, yeah, we'll go. And I was mad. And I was like, dude, and I remember I fought with him all the way for church. I fought with him on the ride up to church. I fought with him nonstop. We finally got here, and I remember I sat right there where that gentleman is in the second row, very at the end, right behind Joe. And Dave was up here, and he was saying, you know, if you have anything to repent from, any sins, anything that's holding you from having happiness or life or whatever, drugs or this or that, and he's just like saying, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, I remember yelling at my daughter about going to get high. I told her, go to church, I'm going to get high. Leave me alone. It's none of your business what I do. And I remember I felt like crap. And I remember that was the only thought that came in my head. It made me feel like crap. And then I sat there and I prayed to God, and I said, I have asked you 1,000 times. And I'm going to ask you one more time. I swear I'm not going to throw it away. I promise you, I will stay clean if you just give this to me one more time. And I went home and I felt higher than I've ever been on my life. I threw all my stuff away. I threw all my long
songs away. I threw everything away. I even threw a lighter away, and on Thursday Max, I still smoked. Which kind of really made me upset. I quit smoking thanks to the kids here at church. I promised them I would by Christmas, and I did too. I thank you, Dave. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I thank you, and I thank my brother, because you guys did not have to put up with my kids. And you sure did not have to put up with us. You didn't have to bring us into our church. You didn't have to bring me, my fighting, my arguing, my drug addiction, and all my crap. And I thank you for changing our lives. I am so much happier now. I got a good job. I'm not on drugs. I don't care about drinking. I don't smoke. And I love my family with all my heart. And I love God. I put God first. But my kids know I love them with every bit of part of me. I will die for them. And I just want to let you guys know, thank you.
I'm so shy. Anyway, 6 months ago, I was living in a homeless shelter in Modesto, and I'll go back a little bit further, okay? Yeah. He said, yeah, do that. I've lived a really good life. My sister and I both, we were blessed. We lived a really good life. Our parents never did drugs or anything like that. We went to really good schools. I have 2 college degrees. I never thought that I would never in my life thought that I would end up in the situation I ended up in. But the thing is, the one thing that I didn't have the whole time I built homes, I lived in a house in Spanos. I had everything that I traveled all over the world, not because I was in the military, just because I could and went on vacations. But the thing is that I did not have God. I did not have God in my life. I did not, and this is what basically had to happen to me for that God could get my attention. And just for what it's worth, He has got my full attention at this point. And my poor sister, Della used to tell me to look around. She would come over to my house, and she suspected that I was using. And so she would come to my house, and she would say, Linda, look, I just want you to look around. Look at your house, look at your yard, look at your dog, look at your car, look at your job, look at your hair, look at your teeth, look at everything you have, everything you've worked so hard for. And if you continue down the road that she continued down, she was, you're going to give all this away. You're going to have nothing. And I honestly thought, well, because I went to work every day, and I still, I wasn't living the life that she was explaining to me, or I hadn't gone to the depths that she said, or that I saw my sister go to. I thought it wouldn't happen to me. I just thought that I was exempt or whatever. And meth does not care. It does not care. Nobody is distinct from it. Nobody is. It does not matter what you have or what you did or how smart you think you are. It will take you, and it will take it very fast. It will sneak up on you, and it will take everything that you have. And that's basically what happened to me. The whole time Della would not talk to me. And, rightfully so, it was very painful for me. I ended up moving to Louisiana last year, about a year ago, and the real sad thing to me was the fact that there was not one person, my friend that took me to Louisiana with her, she's a Christian, and she told me, well, we'll leave tomorrow, and that way you can make phone calls and say, tell people that you're leaving the state. And I did not have one person, not one single person, not one person that I had to tell. I could have left that night. I left. I was gone for 3 months, and finally I called Tyson, and I told him, I said, I'm here in Louisiana. He was like, what? I'm going to lose my mind. He always says that. But anyway, so I came back. This is where I swear this man. I love this man more than anything in the whole world. I seriously, this is the best man in the whole world. My sister, you picked a good one. You did. You picked a very, very good one. But anyway, so I moved into Salvation Army, where I lived there, for about 6 months, and I called him and I said, I drove up to my new apartment. I had a really good job again and did everything, but still I didn't have God. I just didn't. And so I drove up to my new apartment and I just looked around and I knew I'd be going down the same dead-end road again. Because I'm married and my husband was down that road. He was just down that road waiting for me. I'd been down that road before. And so this time I called Tyson and I asked him, I said, can I please come home? Tyson said, yes, you can come home, but Linda, there's rules this time. We're a church family. We're going to go to church. And you're not going to stay out all night. And I'm going to give you a few months to get a job. And you're not going to drink alcohol. You're not going to do dope. You're not going to do any of this. If you're going to stay here, you're going to do what we do as a family. And so, anyway, I humbled myself a lot by just being homeless and living in Louisiana and not having anyone to call. And if it wasn't for God and Tyson, I wouldn't have anything that I have right now. And I'm blessed beyond anything. I have more right now in a serenity that I've never ever had, making over $100,000 a year, living in nice houses. I will give all that up for what I have right now, which is I have everything, and I'm truly blessed. I'm so thankful, and I love everybody in here. And I actually share a room with Myron. I have to say this, okay? Because sometimes, like Della will say something to me, and I will just get so mad. It'll make no sense at all to me, right? And then Tyson will walk in, and 5 minutes later, he's like, Linda, what are you so upset about? Because I want to get my own apartment, I'm 52 years old, and I sleep with a 14-year-old, and we sleep with matching twin beds, and I love Myron, and me and Myron, we're right here, right? But the thing is, I was like, Linda, why are you so upset? I go, why? I explained to him exactly my situation is, right? And so Tyson goes, look, Linda, I didn't want to wake up every day in prison with curled up next to some dude either, but that's what happened. So you just need to humble yourself and sleep in the room with a 14-year-old for a little bit longer. So anyway, thank you.
Hey, we can full worship while we baptize.
Oh yeah, worship. Do something.
Yeah, we're Hey, I want to say something really quick about worship. Worship is life. It's not music. Hey, so us being able to express what God has been doing it's amazing. And I'm going to tell you something. Everybody that spoke, it was divine because there was somebody in here that needed to hear that. They needed to hear the hope that God offers. And there's more than that. We could have been here till tomorrow, second Tuesday of next week, going through everybody. So there's something God has done for you. Now we're going to pray for the sick. And when we start baptizing, we're going to worship. So while they're getting baptized, the rest of you are going to be expressing your gratitude for God through worship. That's what we're